What's going on, guys? Today is my birthday. It also is 156 days in a row, I believe, that I've posted a long-form YouTube. And I wanted to have notes about what I wanted to talk about. I kind of just wanted to cover everything that I think I've learned from doing this and, go through each note of what I believe has changed in my life and all these things. But I thought Engage Fashion, it would make the most sense to just talk to you guys and talk about what I feel in the moment and be as authentic as I possibly can. And I'm sure I'm going to miss a lot of things that I want to talk about, but I think that's okay. I think that's kind of what this message has been throughout the entirety of this series, which is just, it's okay to not meet and not reach perfection. It's okay to just be yourself and try your best in the moment and not overcomplicate, not overthink, and just do what you believe is your best in that moment and putting it out there and stop being so stressed and so focused about what other people think about you. And that's one of the main things that I've learned with doing this. I've also learned that life is short, that a lot of the things that happen to you may not be as important as you think they are. It's difficult to, I don't know, I've had moments where I've been very upset and then I have to come sit in front of this camera and ground myself and talk to the camera. Or I've done things that I'm not proud of. I've hurt people's feelings. I've had good days, I've had bad days, and no matter what happens, I have the same thing that happens at a certain portion of my day, and that's I have to come sit in front of this camera. No matter what, no matter how I'm feeling, no matter how I just treated somebody, no matter how I just felt like I was treated, no matter what has gone on in my life, whether it be good or bad, like I said, I have to ground myself and sit in front of this camera and deliver a message that is positive. And I think that's been something that has been, really good for my mental state, but also very, very difficult to have a really hard argument with somebody that I love, whether that's my mom, my dad, my whoever is in my life. And then I have to sit in front of this camera and not show it. And not show it in the sense of, ignore it and be unauthentic. But sometimes I don't talk about it whenever I'm having a rough day. Sometimes I don't make that known, or I try my best not to. And that's really, really difficult. But I think this being my center, this being my baseline, something that I do every single day, no matter what, has helped me get a lot closer to God. It's helped me get a lot closer to myself. It's helped me understand what people go through and actually feeling emotions. I think what I always talk about, or not what I don't even know why I just said that. I don't always talk about this. What I've heard a lot is, what's the quote? I have it in my notes. I'm going to try to just remember it. Time will pass, or it'll pass. It'll pass. So whether it's a good thing or a bad thing that's, affecting you in that moment, it'll pass. And I used to kind of have that mindset, and I always thought that was maybe stoic to just think, oh, it'll pass. You know what I mean? This good moment, it'll pass. So no reason to sit in it and dwell on it because it's going to pass. No reason to sit and dwell on this negative emotion or negative thought because it'll pass. And I thought, that's a good thing because it keeps me grounded. It keeps me focused on the future and that this is, not something that's going to last forever. But I think that's an ignorant take on life. I think that it will pass, but it's going to come up again. That feeling, if it's something that really bothers you, you're going to feel it again. And that's okay. And I think you should sit in those emotions and not think, oh, this will pass, whether it's good or bad. Sit in those bad emotions and understand how it's making you feel and how you can react differently, what you can do better, what you have done worse in the past, and how to be a better human because of it, and learn what God is trying to teach you in that moment. I think that bad times are a test if you treat them properly. And I think that a lot of us, including myself, have sat in that quote and thought, okay, it'll pass. Let me just kind of push it down. And I don't think that's what that quote wants you to do. I don't think that's what the intention was. And I don't think that's what life is about. I think life's about feeling emotions. Life's about figuring out who you are as a person. Life's about just being yourself unapologetically and authentically, and not in the sense of, truly who we are, because I think we're all truly selfish inside. I think you're born and you want your toys, you want your things, you want your mom, you want your dad, and you're not willing to share those things. That's who you're born to be. You're born to be selfish. So that's not the version of yourself I'm saying to be. I'm saying be the version that you want to be, the version that you are. I think we all want to be loving. We all want to be the hero. We all want to be kind. We all want to be slow to anger, slow to speaking, calm, stoic, also super energetic, also, very high level type of individual. We all have different things about ourselves that is our baseline and our grounding. I think my grounding is being a funny guy that's goofy, that is a little bit energetic, but also, stoic at times and wants to have serious and deep conversations and be taken as somebody who is serious more so than just the comedy relief. I want to be all these things that is myself. And I think that we all know what that is inside. And it's hard to explain. It's hard to put it into words because we all have different versions of ourselves. We all have who we know we are inside. And that's the version that I'm talking about when I say be authentic. Not the version that's just, oh, this is who I am. I am rude. I am, a little bit bratty. I am this. I am that. And you guys just have to put up with it. That's not the type of person I'm talking about. I'm talking about the person that you want to be, the person that you can be inside, the best version of yourself. And I know we're all created in God's image, and we all, are perfect in a way, but we're also all broken in a way. And I think we should lead into that, not perfection, but lead into what we know is right and lead into what we know our soul is telling us to be. And that's the version of yourself I'm saying to be authentically and unapologetically. I just have learned a lot from doing this. I've learned how to, I've learned skills, and I've also learned things that I do really poorly. I think the skills that I've learned is I can articulate myself a lot better. I can stand out in a crowd. I'm not scared to walk. Oh, my dad's calling me. I'll call him right back. I'm not scared to walk up to somebody random and say, hey, how are you doing? I like your shoes, I like this, like that. Especially older people. I think that's extremely important. This is a little bit of a separate topic, but I think it's so important. If you see somebody who's elderly, just be kind to them. It really pisses me off to see content that is people messing with older people. They've gone through a lot, and a lot of people are bitter at that age. And I think that that's really sad. And I think messing with those people is just one of the most evil things you can do as humans. And that's something that I used to do as a kid. I used to not mess with them, but I wasn't always the kindest to my elders. And that's, say I'm at a Whataburger or whatever, I would always be outlandishly goofy. And I would just think, oh, that old guy's just bitter, whatever. You know what I mean? And I would just be, I don't know. I wouldn't obviously torment elderly people, but I wouldn't automatically give them respect. And I think that's something that I have been trying to do differently. I think that's something that we should all do, is understand they've seen a lot and they've went through a lot. And a lot of them have shorter fuses because they haven't always been treated with love their entire life. And this video seems, it's going to be very all over the place. It's going to be me grabbing moments that I've learned from and kind of just blurting them out. So try to bear with me. This video is going to be not very well structured. But yeah, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about myself, also negatively, like I said, which is sometimes I'm quick to anger. Sometimes I speak before I think. Sometimes I hurt people unintentionally, and I've learned the weight of words. I've learned how much what doesn't bother me really, really can hurt somebody else. And I used to not think, I used to think logically that doesn't make sense because my intentions would be not to hurt you. So why does that hurt you? And now I understand that my intentions don't really matter. It's how that person is affected by them. And if they're affected negatively, if my intentions weren't to hurt them, it still hurt them. It still hurt them. And I think that's something that all of us can learn from and do differently, is understand that we hurt people unintentionally all the time. That doesn't mean that you're necessarily wrong, because your intentions were in the right place. But it does mean that you still hurt them. And it's okay to apologize even though you think you were right. You know what I mean? And that's something that I've had to really, really work on, because I'm like, logically, why are you upset with me right now? What did I actually do to make you think this or think that? You know what I mean? And I've been working so logically for so long that it's almost ignorant. It's almost ignorant to think that all humans psychologically operate logically. That's not a logical hypothesis. I think that people don't operate the same way, and that is normal. Humans are different. Humans have different upbringings, different things, and what's logical to me might not be logical to somebody else, and that's completely okay. And I used to think that my grounding, my morals, my everything was right, and that's what it should be, like this, because it makes sense to me. But just because it makes sense to me and I can explain it in a way that makes sense to other people, it doesn't mean that that's what makes sense to everybody. It doesn't mean that that is their perspective. It doesn't mean that that's their life. It doesn't mean that's what they were brought up understanding. So If you guys take anything from this message, it's to be thankful for the good and the bad. Be thankful that you're able to learn something from the bad every single time. I can guarantee you, no matter what you're going through, there is something you can learn about yourself through it. And if you can have that mindset of, God, why am I having to go through this? Not what have I done? God, why, poor pitiful me, why have you given me this task to go through? But what can I learn from it? And you might not always deserve it. It might not feel like, oh, I did an exact equal and opposite exchange. It's not all, I can't think of the exact terminology, but it's not all something that has to be an equal exchange. In reality, you deserve everything. You deserve the bad. You deserve all of the horrible things to happen to you. We're born into sin. We're born unperfect. And we're not supposed to just expect an amazing life. And I think if you can understand that you don't deserve a perfect life, you'll be a lot more thankful for whenever great things happen to you and realize that maybe this life is perfect. Maybe the hardships are something that are given to me to learn from. And if I can actually change as a person and try to focus on what should I learn from this moment, you can realize that life is basically perfect. I mean, it's not, obviously, but life is really, really great if you allow it to be. I have a lot more I want to say. I could talk for an hour, but I don't think it's necessary. I think I've covered on everything that I really wanted to today. And I just want to say I'm thankful. I'm another year older. It's still only 8 o'clock, but it's been a great birthday so far. I've had so many messages of people that really care about me, and it's opened up my eyes to be even more optimistic and more thankful that people care enough to remember my birthday and take time out of their day to say, hey, happy birthday. You know what I mean? And that alone is enough. I don't need gifts. I don't need anything besides their presence, and their presence can be in a moment, can be in a text. And I'm just extremely thankful to be in the position that I'm in. I'm extremely thankful to be able to pursue my dreams. I'm extremely thankful to be able to fail. I'm extremely thankful to be able to learn. And I pray that you guys can fail and learn the same way that I think I have, and find something that grounds you. You know, it's my word as well. It's something that I do every single day at night that grounds me. But this really has me to where I have to articulate myself in a way that also has accountability, because you guys are watching me no matter what I say, and this is on the internet forever. So regardless of what I'm going through, I have to ground myself, and I have to be authentically myself every single day, no matter what. And I've really, really grown as a person, as a man, and in my relationship with God. And I think that's extremely important, and I'm so thankful. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, have a blessed one.